You know, we think of science as this incredible tool, right? It's given us answers to some of the universe's absolute biggest questions. But what about the questions it can't answer? There are some things out there, phenomena at the very edge of our understanding. Things people have seen, heard, or felt that science just can't quite explain.
So that brings up a really big question. Why are we so drawn to these mysteries? I mean, whether it's a gut feeling, a strange sound you can't place, or a story passed down for generations, we seem to just love the things that defy an easy explanation. And that's exactly what this is all about, exploring those gaps in our knowledge.
And look, that's not a failure of science at all. It's more like a map of its final frontier. We're going to dive into a few case files from that frontier, looking at mysteries that continue to puzzle even the top experts in their fields.
Okay, our first investigation, it all starts with a sound, a persistent, low-frequency hum that's been reported in dozens of places all over the world, but it's probably most famous in the small desert town of Taos, New Mexico. Now, this is where it gets really weird. In Taos, for instance, only about 2% of the population can actually hear what they call the hum. Now, for this tiny group, it is a constant, maddening presence. But for everybody else, nothing, just silence. And this isn't just some annoying noise in the background. For the people who can hear it, the physical effects are very real. They report things like dizziness, nausea, constant headaches. It suggests it's way more than just a sound. It's something that's physically affecting the human body.
So what in the world could it be? Well, the theories are all over the place, from secret organizations to mass hysteria. Scientifically, some people think it could be industrial noise or maybe even the deep rumble of the Earth itself. The only problem is, in places like Taos, there are no factories nearby to blame it on. And yeah, the Earth makes sounds, but they're usually way below what a person can hear. The hum? It remains a genuine, baffling acoustic mystery.
So we've gone from a sound that nobody can source to our next case, a creature that nobody can seem to find. For decades, people all across North America have reported seeing this massive, ape-like creature roaming the wilderness. They call him Bigfoot.
The modern legend really blew up in the 20th century. It started with a newspaper article in 1958 that coined the name Bigfoot, and after that, sightings just exploded. Then, in 1967, you get the famous Patterson-Gimlin film, showing that big, hairy figure walking through the woods. But the whole story is kind of built on a shaky foundation. In 2002, a huge piece of the puzzle crumbled when it turned out the original 1958 tracks, the very ones that gave Bigfoot his name, were a complete and total hoax.
And that's the thing. For all the thousands of sightings, all the grainy photos and blurry videos, there is one massive, glaring problem: a complete lack of hard biological proof. No bones, no teeth, no bodies. I mean, for a whole species to exist, you'd expect to find something. Without it, Bigfoot seems to be a creature more of folklore than biology, which maybe says a lot more about our desire to believe the wilderness still holds big secrets.
Now we're going to turn to cases that aren't defined by what was seen, but by a complete and total absence of anything. Throughout history, people, and sometimes the ships or planes they're in, have just disappeared, leaving behind nothing but a vacuum of evidence.
It's a story type as old as the sea itself, right? The classic example is the Mary Celeste, a ship they found just adrift in the Atlantic back in 1872. It was in perfect shape, but the entire crew was just gone.
And it happens on land too. Back in 1975, the super powerful and controversial union boss, Jimmy Hoffa, vanished from a restaurant parking lot in broad daylight. Despite one of the biggest investigations in FBI history, he was never seen again.
And that brings us to the modern equivalent. In 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a huge Boeing 770 with 239 people on board, just disappeared from radar screens. Think about that. In our age of satellites and constant tracking, a massive jetliner just vanished.
These cases really show how totally different circumstances can lead to the exact same haunting result. For Hoffa, the mystery is how a super high-profile guy with known enemies could disappear so cleanly. For MH370, it's how this piece of advanced technology could just turn off its path and vanish, leading to a search that found almost nothing. Both cases leave us with the same thing: a deep, haunting silence. All right, for our final case files, we're going to leave the external world behind. We're going to journey into the most complex and mysterious place we know of,
the human brain. Turns out some of the most common unexplained phenomena happen right between our own ears.
We call it a gut feeling, right, or a sixth sense? But scientists think of intuition as a kind of high-speed data processing. Your brain is basically a massive prediction machine. It's constantly, subconsciously, comparing what's happening right now to every similar thing you've ever experienced, always looking for patterns.
Let me give you an example of how it works. Imagine you're driving at night. You get a gut feeling and swerve just a little, and you miss a giant pothole. You might think, whoa, was that psychic? But here's what really happened. Your subconscious saw a car way up ahead make that exact same swerve. Your conscious mind didn't notice, but your brain's pattern matching system did, and it sent up an alarm bell that basically said, hey, do what that guy did. That alarm bell is what we call intuition.
Okay, then there's déjà vu, another one of those fascinating glitches. But it's actually more complex than just feeling like something is familiar. The key is the second part. You get that powerful feeling that you've been here before, but at the exact same moment, another part of your brain knows for a fact that you haven't. It's the conflict between those two signals that creates that strange, eerie sensation.
And it's super common. About 60% of us have experienced it. And you know what? Researchers think it's actually a good sign. It shows that your brain's reality-checking system is working just fine. It's basically catching a memory error in real time and flagging it for you. Déjà vu is the feeling of your own mind fact-checking itself. How cool is that?
So, we've looked at mysterious sounds, legendary creatures, baffling disappearances, and these strange glitches inside our own minds. So what's the thread that ties all of these unsolved mysteries together? Well, maybe it's the most powerful, unexplained force of all, belief.
Just think about the placebo effect for a second. This is a documented scientific fact. A person can take a sugar pill, no medicine in it at all, but if they believe it's a powerful drug, their body can actually start to heal itself. Their pain goes down, their symptoms get better. The mind's belief has a direct, physical, and measurable impact on the body in ways we're only just starting to wrap our heads around.
Which leaves us with one final thought. We live in an age of incredible scientific discovery, and we're pushing back the darkness every single day. But will we ever have an answer for everything? Or is the existence of the unexplained, that mystery that's always just beyond our grasp, is that a fundamental part of what makes us curious and what it means to be human?
Health is the most precious gift. If this video helped you or someone you love, please like, subscribe, and share so more families can stay safe and healthy.